Problem.
This is an industry in Bangladesh that they just don't want you to see. This is the gate of one of 88 shipbreaking yards. And the people that run them don't want our cameras to show what's happening inside.
Problem.
But finally, we do film a yard from a neighbouring lot. Hundreds of mostly Western ships are literally cut up for scrap by workers who appear to have no protective clothing and seem unaware of the risks. Rizwana Hasan has devoted her career to stopping this trade.
See, all these ships contain very hazardous materials like asbestos, PCBs, and they are inbuilt in the system. So in a country like Bangladesh, we do not have technologies to deal with this sort of hazardous substances.
The film The Iron Eaters graphically shows how low-tech shipbreaking is. Rizwana says it risks workers and the environment.
There is a huge amount of waste oil and water that are eventually released into our coastal environment. So in the process, our soil gets contaminated, the fishery gets contaminated, the air gets polluted, and we are all inhaling it without knowing the effect of it.
Rizwana's led the legal battle against shipbreaking, obtaining a landmark injunction against one company in 2008. For the first time in Bangladesh's judicial history, a polluter was actually fined. But despite her continuing efforts, the problem seems to be getting worse. The number of shipbreaking yards is not going down, it's going up. Bangladesh is now the world leader in this trade, and its people are bearing the brunt of the massive environmental impact. The casualties of this trade are easy to find. Mohammed Murad worked in a shipbreaking yard for 10 years, until a 20-ton slab of metal fell on his leg last year. He explains that with Rizwana's help, he got some compensation, but the company had originally refused to pay anything after he lost his leg. It's too dangerous, he says. The company doesn't give us any security. They tell us to do it quickly, to cut quickly. If you die in the field, no problem, but you have to work quickly, he says. The International Maritime Organization describes the industry as ship recycling and says it provides valuable jobs.
It's a benefit to the country. All it's missing is order, and order can be brought by suitable regulations and enforcement. And I believe it can be done. I mean, you don't close down the industry because it's not doing it correctly now. You adjust it.
An international treaty, the Basel Convention, aims to regulate the industry, but experts admit it's not perfect.
There are difficulties, however, in enforcing the Basel Convention, particularly due to the unique nature of international shipping. It's not a case where there's a shipment of waste going from country A to country B. You have flag states involved, port states involved. So the enforcement of the convention.
Last year, a new convention was agreed in Hong Kong, but Rizwana says it fails to tackle the fundamental problem.
The reality is that the industry is being allowed here to operate because the European countries need to find a place to dump their ships, and because it brings in so much of money.
Shipbreaking is unlikely to end soon, but Rizwana says simply putting a spotlight on this controversial trade is an achievement in itself.
We have been able to give a bad name to the industry, and the industry deserves the bad name.
And Rizwana will not give up until the shipbreaking is done responsibly and safely. She insists profit must not come before impact on the environment and on workers' lives. Dan Rivers, CNN, Bangladesh.